Hi there, so what I'm going to show you how to make today is a really awesome half-term craft ready for Halloween. And hopefully this little tea light holder, once it's glowing, is going to encourage those trick-or-treaters to be knocking at your door. And this is ideal to do in half-term with kids. And all you need is stuff that you've probably got hanging around anyway. So I've got just a cooking sauce glass jar. Okay, and then all I need as well is some watered down PVA glue. So this is just half the jar is PVA, half of it is water. And then I've got some tissue paper. So I've gone for orange because I'm going to create a little pumpkin. I've also got some yellow and red, but if you don't have all different colours, it really doesn't matter. And you can pick this up anywhere. I got this from a supermarket, but you can get it from a craft shop or anywhere like that. Okay, so the first thing that you need to do is get your glass jar, a paintbrush, and just start painting all over the surface of the jar. Okay, so I've just put a little bit of scrap card down on my table so that I don't get it mucky. And you want to paint all the way around and all the way up the top. Like so. Then you can just start picking up your bits of tissue paper. So I'm going to put my red on first because I don't want it to be too vibrant, the red, because I just want to create a really cool pumpkin effect. So I'm just going to place that all over the top. It's nicely spaced out. And I've already torn these bits up, so it's handy to do that, otherwise your fingers are going to get mucky and things like that. And because I've got the glue all over the surface already, I'm literally able to just start placing the tissue paper on. If you find that it's starting to not stick, just grab a bit more on your brush and start to paint it all over the top. It's a good idea to sort of do this as you go because it smooths everything down. The paper will sort of do what you want it to do, so you've just got to apply enough glue. The only thing that's slightly tricky with this is keeping track of where you've started, the more layers that you add. You want to sort of aim for about 2 layers to 3 layers of paper all over the surface. Because when these are finished, the magic really starts to happen, and the more tissue paper that you've got on, the more they will glow and attract those trick-or-treaters. This is really the kind of thing that you don't need to take an awful lot of care over. You can just sort of throw it on, just making sure that with your paintbrush, as you're doing that, you're sort of smoothing it all across. So I've done a layer, maybe 2 in places of orange. So if you're going to do the variety of colours, perhaps putting the yellow on at this stage would be good. It's not essential, but I just find that it adds a little bit of something, a little bit of tone, so that it doesn't, so it looks like it's a bit more sort of pumpkin-y. When it comes to the amount of tissue paper that you need to use as well, really you don't need much at all. I haven't even used a whole sheet for this task. I've sort of used about 1/4 of a sheet. So just torn up into little bits. You could be quite experimental. You could try ripping it into stripes, or you could try tiny little squares, but I've really just gone with random strips. And I find that with the one that you'll see when it's finished, it looks really quite effective. So once you've done sort of all the way around the body of the jar, we've then got to do the lip, okay? So when you're just going to stop sort of picking it up and things, it's worth doing this last little bit around here. So just with my last bits of paper now, I'm going around that edge, just making sure it's nice and tidy. And the great thing about these as well, I think, is it's one of these things that you can get up year after year. And I'm always quite sad when my pumpkin goes a little bit mouldy, so it would be quite nice to sort of get these out and use them as well. Okay, so I think I've got everything now. Just make sure it's nice and tidy around the bottom. I've got 3 more bits. I need to get them on somewhere. So once you've completely covered it and you've got about 2 layers of the tissue paper, then you get your watered down PVA again and you just give everything a proper coat. And what that will do is it will really smooth out all of the creases. I mean, the tissue paper will crease anyway, it's the nature of the paper. If you can't get hold of tissue paper as well, you can also use, I've got my covering. Okay, so now I need to pumpkin fire it. So what I've done already, and it's worth doing this in advance, is I've just with some black paper, this is black paper that I found on a sheet in a magazine, I've cut out a spooky mouth, hopefully you can see that there. Okay, and all I'm going to do, because I've coated the whole surface of the jar in glue, so I'm just going to place that on there like so. So it's starting to look spooky already. I've got a couple of eyes that at the moment I'm just going to place on the surface of the jar. And I've also cut out some spooky angry eyebrows as well. Now what will happen when you place, depending on the thickness of course of the paper, they might start to sort of peel away. So again, with your watered down PVA, just give them a little coat over the surface, and they'll be nicely attached. So that's one spooky Halloween tea light holder that you could put in your windows on Halloween night and attract those trick-or-treaters.